In a world that glorifies the grind, Selah is a sacred invitation to pause. Every other week, you'll find space here to slow down, listen inward, and remember who you are beneath all the noise. Through guided reflections, soulful conversations, gentle practices, and story-led journeys, Selah, a deep pause, offers rest. Not an escape, not to repress, but as a way to come home. This podcast is for those standing at the edge of change. You know who you are. The seekers, the sensitives, the high-functioning feelers, those ready to honor the quiet and reclaim their own rhythm. So come as you are and exhale. Then exhale again and stay for the stillness. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Selah, a deep pause. We appreciate you coming to listen and to feel the stories of our journey. So hopefully they resonate and can help you on your journey. And
I'm back.
We got Tim back in. So Tim is here because I think it's a very good segue to our last episode to hear his side. So, Chrissy, take it away.
Yeah, so I love, Tim, that you're here. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank
We
you.
really very much appreciate it. This episode we're calling Bridging the Gap, his side of the distance. And so we'll be able to recap that. But this is a continued conversation on listening, repair, and love. So I'm super excited that you're here. As Laura said, it's so, I think there's many conversations where we hear one side of the partner, but we don't ever get to really hear the other side because we're all listening and seeing through different lenses. So I think this is an amazing opportunity. And well, Tim, we just love you too. So
Thank you.
there's that. But before we get going, in the last episode, Laura, you read this fantastic quote that I absolutely love. And I think it'd be really great if we hear it again and maybe again. And yeah, if you could share that with us, I think that'd be amazing.
It's such a yummy quote. Okay. To really listen is to lean in softly with a willingness to be changed by what you hear. I want you to take that in, like really take that in. Let's do this one more time. To really listen is to lean in softly with a willingness to be changed by what you hear. I couldn't get enough of this quote when I first heard it.
So Laura and I talked about this the last episode, how that landed for us. Tim, can you reflect on how that lands for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the biggest way it hits is sometimes you listen and just to listen, and I don't know if you're really hearing or feeling what the other person is saying. In addition to that, when you lean in to truly listen, when it talks about the willingness to change based on listening, right? And so when you're listening, you go, okay, I'm okay to change with this. I'm okay to hear how this goes. Will it change our relationship? Will it change whatever situation you're in? But to be open enough to listen with a willingness to change. If that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, we talked about last time is a lot of times we listen to respond.
Right. Well, it's that whole thing too, is am I listening to fix it? The guy's first thing to do anytime, how do I fix it? So, or to the respond, but are you willing to listen enough to where it can change you? How you act, how do you react?
Thank you for sharing that. Um, I think what would be good here, Laura, if you want to give a little recap of what we talked about last episode. And so then we can
Everyone
get
caught up.
get everyone caught up and then get Tim caught up so he knows. I'm
Yeah.
sure he's listened to it. I'm sure he has many times, right, Tim?
Yes.
And get so that we can have a recap, get caught up. And then what I would love to hear is Tim's perspective and what he experienced in that 4 years ago. And then also what, Tim, you're experiencing as you guys have moved and grown forward to today.
So a recap on it would be what I was sharing the last time is there was a moment when we both experienced truly listening. Um, so I'll stick in my eye, like what I experienced. Um, After I had spent some quiet time listening to myself, and we had spent several days apart, and we came back, and I was ready to share all my needs, all my desires, all my wants, everything I had not expressed. When I started sharing that, it was the first time I experienced Tim listening. And I don't know that, I don't think a lot of us understand what that really is. Because what I experienced was a man that was standing in front of me. And as I was expressing his bodily reactions, his emotional responses, like he could feel the meaning behind the words, the emotion behind the words, my actual experience behind the words. And watching that it was breathtaking for me. It was visceral. It was like I had never had that experience. And it also gave me that realization. I was like, oh my God, like this is listening. Because it almost seemed like at the end, I mean, he was completing my sentences. He was like, everything was, it almost felt like I didn't even have to use my words because the listening was so deep.
It was felt.
Felt. Yes, you like, it's like you know how normally if we would have an argument, I'd have to say so that you could hear me. It was like, because of the way you were listening, I had to say less and less and less because you were just taking in my state.
Mhm.
And it was surreal. And so that's the moment that we're talking about when we actually like physically experienced real listening. We didn't know it at the moment, what we were actually experiencing, but now
Well, we had no idea what listening meant. I didn't. I mean, I'm hearing you,
Mhm.
but I was, right? Before that moment, when I was listening to you, I was listening to half of it come in, but I was trying to process what I was going to do. Was I going to fix it? What did I have to do? What trouble am I in?
Oops.
I mean, any number of things, right? Any
Yeah.
number of things. But I wasn't truly listening because I was trying to solve or fix
Mm,
whatever was coming out of your
mhm.
mouth. Um, so when we got to that point, I never had listened like that. Not to anybody. I mean, and so to really truly listen, it was, it's like you said, or like I mentioned too, it was a felt experience. I felt the emotion. I felt your pain. frustration, your resentment, all of that. So it was not just through my ears, it was the energy of feeling that as well. So that was really interesting.
Was that the first time that
Powerful.
that happened, Tim? Like,
Was that the first time?
is that the first time that you've ever really
I think
listened?
so. Yeah. I mean, listen to it in that sense to where it was truly felt. It
It was a
wasn't just heard,
full
it was
body listen, full body
felt.
listen. Yeah.
And felt. Not only did I hear the words, but I felt her. I felt
Mhm.
her emotion. I felt all of that stuff. And you put those two together, and it's like, boom,
Mhm.
right? And so, and I still don't always listen. I mean, I try to, and I'm much better at it. And actually,
You're
I
so
enjoy
good.
it
Mhm.
because when I listen now, I put all the other crap out, and it's also presence, right? Listening is presence. So,
I think that day was such a teaching and pivotal moment for us.
sure. Well, how could it have been?
Mhm. That's true. Mhm.
So, yeah.
So Laura had talked about those, I think you said 9 days. Laura, am I correct? 9 days that you guys were separated. And so she expressed how it took about 4 days to even start to write down the things that she wanted. Do you mind, Tim, sharing your experience there in the office? Because I remember that's where you were staying. Did you did you know what you wanted? Did were you asking yourself those questions? Or in another way, maybe to phrase the question would be, what occurred for you in that time period that made you available to be able to listen and receive what Laura had to say, and then also turn around and share what you wanted?
Wow, it's going back. Um, I think the first couple of days were just didn't know what to think, what to do, what to think. It was a place of complete lost. Didn't know. Was I looking for an apartment? Was I getting ready to move? Did I have whatever? I mean, and so it took a couple of days to then go, I have to sit and ask myself questions. And then that's where the listening gets kind of really weird. 'Cause you're really listening to yourself. Cuckoo. Because you're asking yourself questions. And before I would write questions down or this, that, and the, I'm like, yeah, that's not getting me anywhere. That's like I have to sit down and listen to myself asking the questions. And um, that was hard because I know Laura mentioned or has mentioned, that she didn't even couldn't even write down what you wanted because you didn't know what you wanted. I was kind of in the same boat. Um, so it was definitely an interesting few days and a process to sit and really ask and listen to me because I never really had done that before. I mean, I wasn't listening to other people fully. I mean, I wasn't listening to myself either. I was just doing. I was just doing, 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 doing.
Yeah, we've talked about that of most of us, men and women, struggle to put ourselves first because we're
Yeah.
constantly trying to make sure everyone else is just doing all the things and they're doing okay. If they're okay, then I'm okay. If they're okay, then I'm okay. And the truth of the matter is, I need to be okay first. I need to put on my oxygen mask first before I can take care of the person sitting next to me.
And as much as I liked to think that I would do that, I didn't.
Hmm.
And I thought that was being selfish,
Hmm.
right? I was there to take care and serve other people. But and we run across that in a lot of the work that we're doing now too, is people don't feel that they can listen to themselves and treat themselves first. love themselves first. It's so weird that so many people, despite the fact that you tell them all the stories about the coffee cup and the saucer, if you don't fill up your cup, the saucer doesn't become full for everybody else to take.
I don't think we understand the meaning of that at all.
Mm-mm.
One of the biggest things that as we were just talking over the previous episode, is I, my belief is that the reason we were able to listen to each other and feel each other viscerally like we did is because we took those days to finally listen to ourselves. So what we were expressing was pure truth, was authenticity, was raw, was real. It was depth,
Right.
and that carried a frequency.
Yeah, because it was that time of enough is enough, right?
Mhm.
And so it was like, okay, I have to be willing to listen to change. Goes back to
Mhm.
that quote.
Yeah.
Because if I wasn't listening with the potential of change, we wouldn't be here today.
Yeah. And when we were talking was we were expressing our needs. We were honoring. It was a conversation of honoring me, Tim honoring Tim, and actually what's really also landing right now too is neither one of us attached ourselves to an outcome. We're having this talk to fix this marriage.
Right.
No, that was not. We did not have the intention. We're having this talk to fix this. No, we're coming to this talk raw and real to see if we could be heard, seen,
That's
and
probably the
there
first
was
time you've spoken your full truth.
mhm,
Just here's
no
my truth and
attachment.
here it is. Here it
And
Right.
is.
zero attachment. We literally, I remember for me, I had zero attachment at what does this mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No expectation.
no. We didn't do it on purpose. It just happened.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
or you did, and you just didn't.
Mm,
Yeah, you just didn't realize
Right.
it because it's. I believe as soon as you start tuning into yourself and you start realizing again that you matter, I matter, and what I have to say matters, what I want to be heard matters. It changes. It shifts what it is that you're looking for, and what it is that you're looking to accomplish. Taking that agency back. And it sounds like you both did that in sitting in that utter discomfort. And apparently, Laura, the stink of it all. Uh,
yeah.
Yeah.
it's sitting, which is, it's not easy to do because it's very easy to, you both could have separated and jumped right into your work or friends or whatever it is, the noise to say,
Distraction.
I don't, fuck him, I'm out. Fuck her, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing this anymore. You jump into all the things and you just ignore it. But what you did, which kudos to both of you, is to sit and really sit and be with yourself and say, what do I want? Not what did my parents want? Not what does society want for me? Not what do my kids want us to do? What Laura, what do I, Tim, what do I want?
100%. Because I think so many times people, especially on the outside, are going to say, well, because we're married, or because of this, or because of that. But it wasn't truly what was inside or what we wanted individually.
Obligation.
Obligation, uh, stereotype, normal, how it's supposed to
Yeah.
be.
Well, in obligation, you forget
Mhm.
yourself and then resentment grows.
Yeah.
So, um, and that was the foundation that has opened up so much communication, and it hasn't been perfect. year one, the first year after that was a lot of challenges because it's like, oh, we have this ability. Now we know how to listen a little bit more, but that listening, truly listening, it's uncomfortable
Well,
because
it's uncomfortable and it's a totally new muscle.
exactly.
If you haven't listened like that before, it's not
Mhm.
like every time, okay.
And we're gonna have that experience every
Right,
time.
right. It's gonna be there's other patterns
Rainbows
and
and
triggers.
unicorns.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's not that's not it. And so that first year was a lot of learning, a lot of remembering, awareness. But I think what really, really helped was both of us had the understanding and the awareness that if the other person wasn't listening, that we had the ability to go, hey, can we circle back and can we get back to truly listening? I understand these are triggers or patterns or whatever that were happening, but we were at least able to communicate that.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh crap, there I go again. I got you.
Mhm.
And so yeah, the first year was interesting with all of that kind of stuff, but it was also very important because we got to address and face a lot of the triggers and patterns that we had fallen into.
Yeah.
Made awareness just
A lot of rupture and repair, I would say. The year after that experience was the rupture and repair. And the rupture is like the having that is uncomfortable discussions is like, okay, not everything was said. Now it's like, and then sometimes, our bodies are so interesting that once we start listening, I always get this image of like an elementary school of little kids all coming out, starting to raise their hands, going like, "She's listening now. She's listening. Now me, it's my turn. I got something to say. I got," and so all these little things. And I think that that's kind of for me, my experience of that first year was like, "Oh, can we talk again? I have something. I have something else coming up." Um, but we were able to listen, and we had to so much, like when I would see Tim responding and not being able to hear it, it's like, "You're taking it on."
yeah.
I go, "Don't let it land on you." And it there was there's been it still is, years later, there's so much being unearthed still. To me, 2025 has been the year of, like, bearing so much fruit of all these years of work
Yeah.
because Jesus, um I could I couldn't even imagine what we have today, even 2 years ago, even a few years after we started all this. It's just been incredible. I feel uber, uber lucky.
Well, you are.
I am. He's so good with him. He's so good with himself.
You are so lucky.
Lucky too.
I love it.
That's amazing.
But that's what you want too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you are lucky.
Same scary. So Tim, I have a question, and maybe it's for both of you. I think Laura, you probably shared it before. If you guys think back to prior to the incident that occurred and how you would communicate and how you were trying to be heard, what did that look like prior to
Mm,
it and prior to the
yeah.
break?
I think
Because
I
again,
just
so go
huh?
ahead. Yeah, I was because 'cause gonna say again, as Laura's talked about, you guys from the outside, almost everybody be like, "Laura and Tim, they're great. They're fine." I'm sure
Mhm.
they have little tips here and there, but they're great.
Right. Um, for me, I just held everything in. I didn't talk. I didn't say, "Hey, I need to talk about this." And then it would just completely turn into resentment and I'd blow, you
Or
know,
the drinking.
or the
Yeah.
drinking. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, both. But I would, because I had the mask that everybody thought everything was great. Um, so yeah, I would push everything down. I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't say anything until it was like F everybody.
Well, and even if
And
you did say anything, where did that go? Because at some point you'd are like, "Well, let me just try and have a conversation, and let me just
I
try this."
didn't.
Because I know what you guys had been doing prior to that. You had been, there's books and there's courses that you've taken
Yeah.
and things like that where you talk about communication, and I'm sure there's times that both of you may have tried to, like, lean into a conversation, and then it
No,
didn't
you're
work
right.
out.
We did. But we didn't have the ability or listening skills that we do now. So it's going back to kind of how we started on the episode. I was listening, but I was trying to fix or solve in terms of that communication. And for me, I guess I wouldn't truly let her see me
Mm, yeah.
in my vulnerability, in my emotions. Sure, I cried at cheesy movies, but she didn't see, I had masks on for her.
Well, you weren't letting her see.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't allow it because then I would be vulnerable. And so I didn't say some things. I didn't show certain things. Um,
And I think as we started taking, because initially, I mean, it was a lot of reading books and, learning. And it's like we've got over a decade of learning and, going to, events to learn all these things. But um, for me, I think that in all that learning, what started landing for me was realizing and feeling the distance that I was talking about in that story. You know, our hearts were distant. We could play well together, you know, work together and, you know, be amicable, but our hearts were distant. And as you start learning and paying attention and you can see it and begin to see it, and you're like, oh. And I think that's sometimes why people are afraid to listen and look at these things because we don't want to admit it. You know, we like the way the pattern looks. This pattern, this pattern looks good, but it's all a mask and you're not thriving. And people forget that for you to thrive and live, not survive. And so I know for me, that's as the more we learned, I mean, I started, that's probably why I had that break, is because I couldn't unsee it.
Yeah, I wonder because you've used the word learning, and it's almost like you were learning with your brain, but then you
Mhm,
talk about
yes.
the heart being farther away because we were just what's in tied up in our ego and in our brain is typically not ours. It's the stories we believe that we're supposed, how we're supposed to be, how we think everything's supposed to go, how it's supposed to look, how it's supposed to show up. But our heart's going to show up the way our heart wants to show up. And those two typically don't jive.
mhm.
Mhm. Yeah. No. Anything else that you could share about that experience? Or
Um,
maybe I can help you with one part of it because she asked me, what was it like when it was turned and when Tim was talking? And my response was, I could see my part
I
and
felt it.
how I hurt you.
So when you were, s- so when you were talking and I was listening, it goes back to the felt experience. I didn't necessarily hear my part. I felt it. And I felt it in your energy. And I was like, oh, that was like the moment it clicked. It's like, I felt it. I felt your pain. I felt your frustration. I felt it. And so what it did for me is it's like, wow, that was my. And so I guess in terms of the whole listening and all of that,
Do you remember how you felt when you were talking and I was listening to you?
so what else?
So did you recognize when you were talking, could you see how Laura was feeling it, accepting it, listening to it the way that
Yes, because there was a different demeanor in her facial expression, her body energy, her eyes. There's a look. I'm getting it now. And so, but no, there's a look of, I am listening. I am here. I am 100% present, and I'm honoring you by
Mhm.
listening.
Mhm.
And when you receive that, when you're speaking, it's almost like it's cracking you open to feel safe, to be vulnerable, and to be able to speak. What do I want? What is important to me? And not feel judged and not feel,
Well, you felt appreciated, which is what you
yeah,
had been seeking.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and can you say that in that moment that that may have been one of the first times, because we talked about with Laura of, oh, this is what it feels like to be heard. This is
yes.
what it feels like, because that's what we are start to operate off of, this new muscle memory. You talked about
Hmm.
muscle, like, oh, this is what I okay. I said
Yeah.
my thing, and she received it. Like you can feel it when that
It goes back
happens.
to it goes back to the felt experience. So both listening and speaking and seeing that she is truly listening, it's like, oh, I feel that and it feels good. Um, so yeah,
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And let's be honest, sometimes we can have those conversations and then a week later, smack back in your patterns. And
Mhm.
you're
yes,
like, what happened? We, we had this great experience. I love you and you love me. We are
yeah,
woo. And, and then somebody doesn't take out the damn garbage. And you're like, this mother son of a
yeah, yeah,
Jesus. So, when we talk about that, and I'm going to fast forward a little bit. So, you talked about over the next year that was crunchy, but now we're about 4 years later, and how do you guys catch yourself in these old patterns? Because they're going to come up. They literally do it kind of on purpose just to kind of check in and see how
remind
we're
you.
doing. So, what does that look like for you guys? Or have you caught yourselves, let's just say it's August, this in the last,
Mhm.
8 months, and where you're just like,
Yes,
Oh, we do. But you know what's I'll speak in my eye and then I'll let you go through your interpretation is we catch it. Ah, what's almost funny is I almost let myself get really fiery about it because now I'm not afraid to feel and express my emotion. So what I love about it though is where before that happened, we would be stuck in that ugh for days. I can't imagine we go hours, maybe a half a day at the worst,
yeah,
where we are stuck in where we can't get out of our own way.
or maybe you haven't even recognized it yet.
right.
Correct. Oh yeah, exactly. There are times where we're like, oh, it takes us, yeah, it's
But
like when
it's
it's hit.
there are times when it's almost freaking comical because we'll catch a pattern and we'll just look at each other and it's just like,
Die
"Jeez."
laughing.
And we'll just start laughing. And it's like my bad. I totally went off the rails there,
Mhm.
or vice versa. But I think so. The key is the awareness, right? And not to beat ourselves. I think for also that first year, because it was crunchy, a lot of times, whether you caught a pattern or I caught a pattern or were triggered or this, that, and the other, it was like, oh shit, here we go again, right?
Yeah.
Or you would beat yourself up for it.
Yeah.
Now it's like, no, that's
Yeah.
who
You're
we are.
allowed.
We're
You're
still gonna be
allowed to feel
stupid
the
once in a
things and
while.
do dumb
Yeah,
shit and just be
yeah.
like, all right.
And so now it does sometimes get comical. It's
Yeah.
like,
Well, the awareness with these experiences is when you talk, the awareness starts to stack.
Yeah.
One on top of another. It's a beautiful thing. So that's why sometimes we're like, how long does it, well, it's going to stack. So that's the reason, because all this awareness is stacking, what we're able to catch it. Um, and the word, as I'm talking, that's spirit just keeps screaming intimacy to me. Let me see where it's trying to take me. Um, I think sometimes people in a relationship, they immediately are looking for, how do we improve our intimacy? We want to do all this stuff to go straight into intimacy. You cannot be intimate if you cannot listen to the other person, whether it's a friendship but especially in, a partner. It's like what this listening has done is like our intimacy is off the charts, which is because I feel so seen and heard. And even when he does slip, you know, when even if he doesn't see it for a little bit, when he sees it, he's like, and he's apologetic, and he comes in and he's like, I am so sorry. And it's just like listening is the doorway to intimacy. It's the path to intimacy.
Vulnerability.
yeah,
Because if you
Mhm.
feel heard, then you're more likely to be vulnerable and to go, okay, let me just take another step in. Let me take another step in. And that felt experience of, okay, I feel held. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep trusting. And I think it's a huge thing. And but it's so conditioned out of it. Excuse me, so conditioned out of us from an early age that it's just very hard to even believe that it could be, and I'm going to use this word, I know it's the wrong one, that it can be so simple. Simple doesn't mean easy.
A lot of this is simple. We overcomplicate it.
this does.
Humans overcomplicating things? That's
This
crazy talk.
does.
Yeah. Anything else you think you could add from your side of it?
From my side,
Yeah. I've done a lot of talking. Oh no,
I feel
like
like
the
I have.
previous episode.
Um, no, I think from learning from that and looking back at that moment specifically in terms of really listening, how much it carries forward.
Mm,
And it's not just in our relationship.
yeah.
I mean, listening is whether you're hanging out with a friend, whether you're talking to your kids, whether you're in a meeting with an employee or a boss or whatever it is, right? There's a listening and an understanding of what it really means.
Yeah. That we've been able to offer to our children.
Yeah.
We've been able to offer to our friends. We've been able to, it's rippled out to in our sphere and created. Actually, wow, that's a great question, because look at what it's created in the last few years. It's a beautiful community that wants to step into their fullness, wants to step into their authenticity, and wants to hold each other in their fullness and authenticity. And it all started with the foundation of learning to listen.
Yeah. Yep. I completely agree with that. So, for anyone listening who might be in this in between space, what would you say to them, like from where you are now?
You're not going to get it right at the beginning. Um, all you need to find out at the beginning is there a willingness to lean in, a willingness to take in the person in front of you, grow. It's all whatever direction you're going is like, is there a willingness? And if there is, the first few steps, it's an overgrown cactus farm. You're gonna walk through some prickly stuff. And also, I honestly, I don't know that we could have done it without community. Surround yourself
Sure.
with people that are wanting the same thing. Because that first year of prickly, um, we had some epic friends that just held us in it, that when I needed my space to talk and like, where there was no need for it to go through Tim's ears. I just needed my girlfriend to just hear the shit. You know, Tim started leaning, which, I kind of says like, I'm just saying it. When you started leaning on other men that were wanting the same, that was the most beautiful thing to witness. Like, it's gorgeous to witness.
And I think what I would chime in, I think community or having people that you can talk to and feel comfortable about it is huge. Huge.
They're out there.
Yeah. But I think one of the biggest things that I would say is when you're starting to listen with your partner specifically, and this is through a man's eyes, a man's lens, stop fixing, stop trying to fix. It's not always about fixing. If you're trying to fix, that makes her feel like there's something wrong with her. So, and it's not about winning.
Mm,
It's not about being right.
mm.
And going back to that quote and being willing to change from listening, when you truly start to listen, you will change because you'll be like, oh, if I do something a little different, and it's not changing who I am, it's just changing how I kind of walk through life.
Even
So yeah,
something just as simple as what you just said. You're not trying to change yourself, but when you tweak how you listen, like you said you did, from how do I fix it to how do I just hold space and listen, that's the change that you're talking about, right? You're not talking about a fundamental change to who you are. It is a change on each side of how can I do this a little different? Laura and I talked about, we've all done this. How do you want me to listen to what you're saying? Do I need to hold the trash for you? Do you need my opinion on how to fix your situation? Like, how can I listen? Right. Or how can I, how do you want me to show up for you? Or telling them, I need you to, could you show up for me this way? This is what I need. When we say clear as kind. When you talk about the questions that you guys ask of each other when you're communicating, are there questions that you ask when you jump into that conversation, like at the beginning or at the end?
More at the beginning, you always ask me now, how do you want me to listen?
yeah.
You know,
I'll ask, how do you want me to listen?
yeah.
Because there are times she does want me to fix it or take care of something, right? Or there's times that she just wants to be vulnerable and be a shit show. And if I just sit there and I'm there for that, and I talk about through a man's lens as well, but it could be a successful businesswoman, a successful businessman. You don't bring your energy as if you're in the boardroom
Mm.
or on the athletic field or in the cockpit. You don't bring that into your relationship. You have to be listening differently. You have to be coming in with a different energy. Those things may work in those avenues.
'Cause that's got an agenda on it.
Correct.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always work
No.
in this arena here.
No, because then that's controlled. If you go into a conversation with an agenda, you're trying to control. It's
Or a
simple.
mask.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you're talking about is walking into the conversation with that mask of the CEO of the company or
Yeah.
whatever it is. You're walking in with a mask. You're not walking in vulnerable to the
Correct.
conversation.
Yeah. And then it's like how I could really feel when you were just saying going into the conversation of not having with sometimes with couples, especially like you want to win at the conversation, and you're not going to get anywhere there.
But that also comes from not feeling heard or seen
Mhm.
in the relationship.
Yeah.
So you're like, screw you, I'm winning this one. I'm getting my validation,
Mm, there's the word,
right?
validation.
Yeah.
That's all we're looking for most of the time, validation. Yeah. I think right now this is feeling kind of complete.
We love a complete. Similar, anything to add before we do get to closing?
No, I'm just glad I got to be on for a second episode.
I'm sure there'll be plenty more, Tim.
Okay. Twist my arm, I like to talk.
Okay. Yay. Laura, do you have a closing that you would like to share for this episode?
Absolutely. So, if it feels safe, place one hand over your heart and the other gently over your belly. And let your breath come in, not to control it, but to meet it. And now, bring to mind where space has widened, where hearts have distanced. Now, don't go in to solve it, nor to change it, nor to fix it. Can you just notice it? Where do you feel that space in your body? Is it tightness in your chest? A flutter in your gut? Or an ache in your throat? Just notice. And now ask, what would it feel like to take one step closer? Not in words, not in fixing, but just in presence. Let your breath breathe a bridge. Let your willingness be enough. Let your willingness be enough. Stay here for one more breath and trust that even your noticing is an act of pure love. Listening, it's the doorway to intimacy. Oh,
Oh,
mhm.
that was amazing. Before we close, I just wanted to see if you guys wouldn't mind sharing one word from each of you that would describe how you feel about where you are today together.
Honoring.
Aligned.
Mm.
Amazing.
Yum, yum, yum.
All right, Laura, you want to take us out?
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us for another episode of Selah, a deep pause. May these words resonate. May they ring something in your body and bring you to some stillness, to listen and to notice. Till next time, we'll see you again.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.
Thank you for pausing with me. May what you heard settle gently in your body and stir something true within you. If this episode spoke to your soul, please subscribe and share with someone else who might need this pause as well. Until next time, come as you are, take a deep breath, and stay for the stillness.